A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have you back on the show. You're watching iBorn Sri Lanka on a beautiful Thursday morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm Prassanna, and today, as usual, we have yet another very interesting personality who's going to talk about, a very young, interesting personality, may I rephrase that, who's going to talk about the fashion industry in Sri Lanka, and also he is also an event manager. He's an event management consultant, and he's going to talk about how events are to be happened in the future, because there'll be so many things happening in Sri Lanka. And let me introduce my guest this morning. He is Padmanathan Prassanna, who is a fashion journalist and as well as an event manager. Very good morning, Prassanna, and welcome to iBorn Sri Lanka.
Good morning, Krishanta.
Right, excellent. How is it to be on TV?
Yeah,
feels good.
Yeah, feels good.
Okay.
In the early morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Prassanna, my first, before we go on to what we have come to discuss, could you please tell us about yourself? You as a child, you as a student, and how did you get into this industry, especially into the fashion trade?
Well, basically, Krishanta, I schooled at DSN College.
Okay.
Then I was at Gateway International as well. Then soon after I left school, I joined IT, that is Informatics Institute of Technology, to do my degree. Then I did CIM as well. Now I work as an assistant manager of an ad agency. So I basically handle few big brands over here as the communication consultant for those brands. When I was in my college, one of my friends called Kalhari, she has taken me to do an interview. She was writing for a magazine, so she took me to do an interview with BNS, Bharti and Santosh. So then I just accompanied her. It was like 3 years before. So it sounds so interesting, and I had so much of fun. So then I thought, okay, I also should write. Then I started. I just got a chance. I applied for an online magazine, because online magazine called Agora. That started in Sri Lanka. That is the first online magazine of South Asia. So I've been appointed as the chief editor with my all writing and some journalism background. Then when I went into that, I did so much of columns in that, many writings, reviews, and then interviews kind of stuff. Then after that, because of a few reasons, they had to take this magazine from Sri Lanka to US. So then I stopped working for them. Then I started writing for Chocolate. It's one of the teen magazines over here. So the interest I had in fashion helped me to move from interviews into fashion journalism. So if you take fashion journalism, it's all about reviewing fashion shows and introducing new models, designers to the industry, featuring them, then yeah, something like that. Then one step further, I was able to make few contacts in locally and internationally. So with few designers and the models, I was able to do few shows. So recently, in May, we did a show that we call the Mother and Daughter Fashion Show. And I'll tell about you in detail later. And then another show is on the way in October. That is the Sunday Observer, the Design of the Year show, and few pageants as well.
Okay, Prasanna, let's break this down into certain areas. When we take the fashion industry in Sri Lanka, especially modeling and things like that, let's break it down. Number one is the model. Let's talk about the model. Number two is the designer. Let's talk about the designers thereafter, and let's talk about finally the ramp, the opportunities that Sri Lanka has for these two which we spoke earlier to bring out. Right. Okay, let's talk about the model. Within the recent past, or perhaps for a long time, especially in the Western, in bridals, then in fashion magazines and things like that, until Jacqueline came into the scene, the model industry was dominated by certain individuals, and it was the same face that you see, and it's with all due respect, it's my question is, why is it that in Sri Lanka? Why is the same face we see over and over again? And what is the problem? I mean, there's so many pretty girls in Sri Lanka as well. You know, now especially take the northeast. This is a new. We are seeing new faces, especially from the side, the northeast, from Jaffna. You know, which we have never seen the culture of this country. Why is it that only this is confined to only this handful of models? Can you answer that question first?
Yeah, I agree with you, Krishanta. Now, basically, if you take our industry, the modeling industry, we are really small. Still, there's so much of way to go. But if you take other countries like Western countries, even India, Singapore, their industries like really big. So, taking this as a career in Sri Lanka is a risk. Because if you take in India, for an example, it's very easy to explain. When you take next country, India, they have, if you take a month, in a month, there'll be plenty of shows for them. So they can keep this as their career, and they have continuous shows, and they earn a lot, even the designers and the models. But if you take Sri Lanka, we don't have much shows. In a year, maybe, say, 4 to 5, depends, maximum 10. So if you take this as your career, then you'll be in trouble, because also you won't get paid much, not like the other countries. So the models, all the time you see the same models, because few of them, they made it to the top, and they get the opportunities to go into all these things, but still they can't make it as a career, a professional thing. And also, so much of, as you said, there are beautiful girls and guys all around the island, but still they don't want to come into this industry because of this reason. They cannot take this as a career. And another thing is that there are certain kind of a social stigma, or kind of a thing involved with this industry, where certain cultural people, they think this is not a suitable thing, but which is not true. Because modeling is not exposing yourself, it's about how you present, or your attitude, the glamour, in a correct way that you pass. So because of that reason, we don't get much people coming into this. And also, if you take in the entire island, you get the fashion shows mostly in Colombo, based in Colombo. You have 1 or 2 in Kandy, that's it. So because of that reason, only the crowd among Colombo getting into this industry, which is not right, I would say. So because of that reason, now certain organizations, certain designers, they go and hunt models from other places, train them, and they bring them in the industry. So now that's happening.
Thank you very much, Prassanna. That was a good answer. Now let's take the design itself. Now we have many designer stores in Sri Lanka, starting from Model and so on and so forth. But why is it that in Sri Lanka a person would not go on to buy an expensive piece of material? Well, some say that, okay, is it going to say that this shirt was 26,000 rupees, or whether it was 3,000 rupees? Now this is some drawback in the Sri Lankan business in fashion, to purchase a good piece of designer, right? But the awareness of people actually knowing that it's, well, for some people, yes, they will look at the piece and say, okay, geez, this is an absolute gorgeous piece of material, and would know. But the education standard when it comes to a fashion a trademark product is not very popular in Sri Lanka, right? Having said that, now the Sri Lankan designers, I don't see, to my knowledge, Prassanna, I may be wrong, but I don't see any, apart from the few who are in the trade, young designers coming into the scene, or Sri Lankans becoming fashion conscious and using our own products. This is not happening. Why is that, Prassanna?
Well, that basically depends on our economic status. Now, if you take the other countries, the fashion show itself, the reason for having many fashion shows, the designers, they showcase their label. And it's not only the audience who come and sit to watch those shows, it's the people, the retail